Textbook.
Textbook.
Textbook. Textbook.
Textbook.
Smallpox. Textbook smallpox. Textbook smallpox. DDXing at this point isn't going to make a difference.
Don't say that.
I'm sorry.
Did you master?
Textbook psychology, Dr. Cross. Seriously. Textbook. Textbook. Textbook.
Yellow and sticking some sort of sunflower or butterfly on the logo. It's textbook. It's textbook. It's textbook.
Look, do me a favor. Lay off the textbook approach. I just want simple answers to simple questions.
I read anything I could get my hands on. Gardening manuals, economic textbooks, Spanish poetry.
What division? Academic books, reference, trade?
Academic. Textbooks, mostly.
Let me ask you a question. Do you want to spend the next couple weeks reading out of a textbook, or would you rather keep it real?
I guess keep it real.
Because I can assign you pages from the textbook, and you can copy them into your notebooks.
It was a textbook operation, Mr. Chairman. Meticulously planned, flawlessly executed.
Get your hands off my stuff. Stuff might tell us more about why you're sick. A history textbook. You go to school?
The textbook says many tribes were often at war with allegiances shifting all of the time.
Shifting all the time.
Oh, I'll get that.
I got it.
No, it's
Why do you have a history textbook?
No, it's not a big deal.
Every science classroom, every periodic table, every textbook.
Textbooks full of falsehoods, teachers' unions full of thugs, and tenured imbeciles who still use words like irregardless. I'm gonna stay.
Yeah.
Look, I need a new calculus textbook. I can get it used. Only costs $20.
Release.
Release.
Release. Release. Release.
It is a release. It is a release. You make it sound so noble.
Guys call, girls call. They're looking for release, looking for release, looking for release. Sometimes that release.
Release him. Release him. Release him.
When you release it, pull the trigger. You pull the trigger. How's that feel? And third, you will release certain artisans from their contractual obligations so that they might...
I transfer the money electronically. He will release her. Watson!
Release those names to the government.
Now I could release that file and destroy you.
The few details have been released. We can't confirm that she was shot to death late last night.
Unless we can show that he's Tyson, we have to release.
Depend.
Depend.
Depend. Depend. Depend.
You know, we all have people that we can depend on. Yvonne's got me, and Eddie's got Yvonne, and...
We need more guns, Da Vinci. Our lives depend on it. Depend on it. Depend on it.
Heroic. He's no hero. He's a self-centered lout who puts his own ego ahead of those that depend on him. Depend on him. Depend on him. Your very survival may depend on your discipline, focus, and concentration.
I like having my buddies that I can depend on. And I would like for them to be able to depend on me.
You won't hurt her.
That depend on you.
Nice. Though that would depend on whether Cynthia Hamilton was in love or insane.
Good. Because I need to know that you're going to be here. And I need to know that I can depend on you.
It's not as though our lives depend on it or anything.
Your lives and the lives of your children depend on it. Please.
I trust your judgment. In fact, I pretty much depend on it.
Well, Taylor will be heartbroken. She's really come to depend upon you.
What do you plan to do with us, sir?
It might depend on what she was planning to do with us.
Well, I guess it would depend on why they're long lost to begin with.
Species.
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 Species. Then much less. They're classed as jellyfish, crustaceans, cells, shellfish, larvae. Thousands of groups of species, To species. To species.
Compared to what? The idea that you're the only intelligent species? Intelligent species? Intelligent species? On the only inhabitable planet in a universe so full of planets that you don't even have a number to describe how many there are.
The Seeker was right. You are an unreasonable species. Species. I tried to help you, and this is how you thank me.
He's climbed Everest and fought bulls and hunted every kind of big game, even 3 species that are now extinct.
Is it really genocide when the survival of one's own species is at stake?
Isn't creepy at all.
We've housed the galaxy's largest collection of fauna, relics, and species of all manner.
Barely even the same species.
We're walking in the dark.
Anything, agricultural, military, protected species, ironically even some environmental groups.
What? Refuse to play? I've killed an entire species.
They would have done the same to us.
No!
Animal life on Earth goes back millions of years. Yet most species only use 3 to 5% of its cerebral capacity.
Diplomat.
Diplomat. Diplomat. Diplomat.
Diplomat. Diplomat. An American diplomat. An American diplomat. Shot and killed by a former American policeman. Lucky you had him with you.
You want to be a diplomat. You want to be a diplomat. You want to be a diplomat.
It'd be a chance for Alexandria Udinov to do some good.
Who'd we use?
Rowan took the diplomat. Stephen had the chemist. Carlos killed the courier.
I don't believe even the most gifted diplomat could maintain that kind of equanimity.
With investments in South Africa, a UN diplomat with ties to Russia, and a CEO with a manufacturing plant 80 miles from a Chinese mine.
He was a local diplomat. And I slit his throat.
Yeah. What was he, a diplomat?
No.
And? What man?
Turkish diplomat called something I can't read.
Only now he's a killer in a suit.
Well, maybe he's a recovering diplomat.
They pulled the whole file.
Please, I have an appointment with Mr. Savant. He's a Greek diplomat. I don't have much time.
Sorry, lady, no badge, no entry.
Suppose. Suppose.
Suppose. Suppose. Suppose.
I think we all learned an important lesson here.
Yes, I suppose we.
Like I learned how to do the Golden Lotus clap!
No, I suppose not. I suppose not. I suppose not.
What is that? Why are you doing that? Come on, I suppose I'm the reason.
Yeah. Remember in first grade when you were supposed to pick me up after school? You left me waiting.
Military code. So I suppose I shouldn't pry into the meaning of kitchen cabinets then either.
I suppose you're wondering who came up with the diabolical plan to spread this virus of humiliation around the world.
Gwen, I suppose you know what day tomorrow is. Son, you have 30 seconds.
I suppose I could come up with something. In the depth of winter, I found there was within me an invincible summer.
And I suppose we're just gonna have to find these guys and take them down.
What do you suppose is in that big freezer?
Suppose it's already paid for, right?
Exactly. Suppose you think I was wrong about Sebastian too, then?
I suppose you want to triple check the results.
I suppose people who do believe that filth consider Robert's bastards to be better claimants to the throne than Cersei's children.
I suppose congratulations are in order.
Psychology.
Psychology. Psychology.
Psychology. Psychology.
Cool. What does she teach?
Psychology, I think.
In order to really understand the psychology of the shark, you've got to get outside the cage.
There's gotta be a method to it.
Yeah? It's psychology. It's psychology. It's psychology. You get him to lower his guard.
Do you enjoy seeing dead people?
Hey, if I want bullshit psychology, I call your mother. What?
I'm trying to be your friend, okay? But I don't know why you try to hide this stuff from me. I'm a psychology minor, you know that.
I'm a psych.
I'm going to Tulane in the fall, double majoring in child psychology and public policy. I'm hoping to intern at a law firm while I'm there.
A new study in the Journal of Experimental Psychology showed that most people can identify gay men by face alone.
So, passive-aggressive reverse psychology. Got it.
Beckett.
Actually, it's perfect superhero psychology. It's symbiosis.
Have you heard of color psychology?
The theory that changes in the color spectrum can affect emotion.
It is so nice to have another woman to talk to.
I think psychology might be my major.
Okay. I was a psychology major.
Significance. Significance.
Significance.
Significance.
Significance. Is that you can't ascribe great cosmic significance to a simple earthly event.
I could never get that past a DA in Brooklyn.
Well, I mean, it might have a significance.
Could be mathematically symbolic.
Or spiritual. For me.
Yes, it had great cultural significance. Cultural significance.
What does it mean?
It means great white cow.
In our world, genes have an almost spiritual significance. Spiritual significance. Spiritual significance. They are the seeds of our immortality.
An intuition, a sense of significance. That from this point on, there was no going back.
This water tank was of particular significance to these two men.
You say those words as if they're supposed to hold some significance for me.
It's one of the top law firms in the city.
To have some kind of significance.
Castle, look at this.
What do you want?
The League conducts matter of significance, such as duels, on grounds sacred to its beliefs.
18 years ago?
I'm afraid I'm missing the significance. You'll have to forgive me. My memory's not what it used to be.
Membership.
Membership. Membership.
Aversion through high school.
It says it?
No. I just assumed it due to your many years on the honor roll and your membership to the juggling squad. Your membership to the juggling squad. Your membership to the juggling squad.
Oh, that's beautiful. I'm thinking of golf membership.
I want to keep the club membership. Rex is terrible at tennis.
Thanks to Fred, Toma, and Bam Bam, Greenpeace membership increased by over 400%.
Montgomery Clyde, I hereby revoke your membership of this hallowed guild.
We believe that Mr. McVeigh's membership in a racist organization...
Oh, come on. The Tea Party is racist?
A few perks. Free lunch here, gym membership there. I never took a single one.
Exclusivity. And so I've decided not to renew our membership. I'd rather see the money go to someone I care about.
Why to join in all the fun?
You laugh, but I still have my membership card to the American Philatelic Society.
You know it?
Yeah. Had kind of a preferred guest membership there for a stretch.
The Cult of Tusk. Membership 1.
Journalist.
Journalist.
Journalist. Journalist.
Journalist.
Journalist. You're no journalist. You're no journalist.
I like being a journalist. Journalist.
The office is in the garage.
You look a little young to be a journalist.
Occasionally.
Of course, I've seen you in the newspaper. You're a reporter?
I'm a journalist.
Mariana something works for a former newspaper journalist.
I don't care what he said. Mr. Roscoe is a journalist.
I killed that woman journalist. I mean, I'm why she was in that hotel room to begin with.
Kleinfeld had dealt exclusively with one journalist, Celia Carroll of the Dispatch.
He's a journalist. Travels a lot.
You're a real run towards the fire kind of girl, aren't you?
I'm a journalist.
We need to find the journalist who sold you that recording. Find out what's on it.
Accustom. Accustom. Accustom.
Accustom.
Accustom.
I'm not accustomed to making inquiries like this, but I
admit, I'm not accustomed to rebuffing.
You're not accustomed to being on the receiving end of rebuffings.
Over the years, he became accustomed to the spotlight, inevitably.
Welcome. Accustomed as we are today to think of magnetism as the vector of
limitless fountain of pornography that he had become accustomed to.
Soon, I might even grow accustomed to the storm of car horns and vendors.
A type of patience with you that I am not accustomed to. Do you know what that is?
She was accustomed to far less affluent means. It's unlike.
Those are words I'm not accustomed to hearing these days.
No.
I'm not accustomed to this many distractions.
Yeah. Leaving a trail. More accustomed to outrunning bad weather than following it.
Initiative. Initiative. Initiative.
Initiative.
Initiative.
Stumped for an initiative to revive inner-city after-school swim programs.
Beers quietly started a new initiative. The new initiative. Instead of this catch and release with powered people, we form a team.
Such initiative. Such patience.
Oh my God, this is great.
Beth, dude, your initiative, it is impressive.
Take some initiative and get these assholes in line.
They have a bit of initiative they're showing. And I like that, because they're not just sitting around waiting for a fucking handout.
And while I commend his actions and his initiatives, I believe it's now in our best interest to move on.
Part of that nationwide initiative to rob small, charming pubs of any discernible character.
Superb leadership, initiative, and exceptional resourcefulness.
We saw an opportunity. Seize the initiative.
Bake. 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 Bake.
Bake.
My mom. Cool lady. Knows how to bake. Yeah.
Since you are such a fan of lame store-bought blueberry pie, I'm gonna bake you a real pie of your choice tonight.
I can't remember exactly which country, but we do bake sales, and like feeding the homeless and...
Many of us can hoe.
Oh, you can hoe.
And I can work with iron.
Oh, that's good.
I bake bread.
Yummy.
Oh my God, under the stars of the blue southern sky, where girls become women, we bake apple pie.
The infirmary tonight. Right? So, you got plenty of time to bake him a cake.
Oh, do you know anything about baking? I missed my son's birthday. I was going to,
Baking a cake?
Yeah.
How old is that?
16.
Do I resent that? Of course not. These guys are my friends. I play basketball with them. I bake for them.
Somebody on the inside.
Which store?
I don't know. I didn't want to know. I just wanted to bake bread and make enough money to marry my girl.
Much better than bald eagle.
Hey, we're still eating that. We're gonna roast it, bake it, fry it. I don't care, but we're really gonna eat it.
Current.
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 I should be allowed to retake the challenge test with the current class. And believe me, I will not fail.
I know who you are.
And, unlike your current employer, I protect those who work for me.
Chinatown gets up 10%. Bronx and Brooklyn will settle for the current rate.
There's a brutal current there. It'll take a miracle to keep her off the reef.
You understand?
You're making this up, right?
No, it's Harry here.
This is for real. At the current rate of nitrogen buildup, she will be dead in how long?
Even in light of current events.
Leaderless. The giant sucking sound you're hearing is the current power vacuum in Starling City.
A computer technician left his job when she was killed 1 year ago today.
No current phone, no current address.
Here. We can anchor there till the engineers get us back online.
ETA, given our current limitations with engine output.
Chung is stationed outside CIC. As you know, there's a maze of P-ways between him and our current location.
We need to replicate the initial jolt to your system.
But that would mean a peak current of at least 20,000 kiloamps.
Are you keeping up on current events?
No, I'm looking at the classifieds.
Tower's pretty well defended. It's surrounded by mechs. There's a lot less resistance than our current target will show. Well, we don't get Karen.
When Housefly, they provide us an aerial view of our current position.
Communicate. Communicate.
Communicate.
Communicate.
Communicate.
But you shouldn't have faked it, okay? Because that's not helping anybody. You gotta communicate. Communicate. Communicate.
What happened to you?
Radios. We can't defend ourselves if we can't communicate and communicate and communicate. If we can build radios, walkie-talkies.
Then we can fight as a team. We'd have a chance at least.
I don't really think him and I know how to communicate. Well, yeah, we're not really on the same page, honestly.
Portia, look, I asked you here for a reason, and it wasn't to kiss you.
Please communicate with my associate Ben in the future.
Portia, wait, it's just, I think...
It's what we can all use to communicate. Post a note on the message board.
She's a very closed-off kid.
Well, she wants to communicate, obviously. I mean, look at the effort she's made.
Now, this had the added benefit of making her too delirious to effectively communicate with a killer who liked to chat up his victims. The angel took the bait.
Yes, curse his attempt to communicate information clearly with his audience in mind.
So, yes?
There may be things he saw, things he's trying to communicate about the crime. If you let me see him, I can try to find out what he knows.
He wants attention. He needs to communicate.
Exactly, he likes to share. So let him. Maybe he's going to share something that he didn't intend to.
Once he reaches shore, he's a free man, able to communicate with whomever he pleases.
Increasing their toxicity.
Bees communicate by releasing pheromones. Maybe this met is controlling them through secretion.
Software.
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 And the software.
Visual's too tight.
What about a trace?
According to my software, this image is being transmitted from a cell tower halfway around the world.
I was recruited by a software company in college. The kind that makes apps for phones.
I have to get you online now. Can you see the satellite software?
Etheon 3.0 gives you the power to bring your world to you.
Is he pitching me software?
Wow. I got software like that.
He wouldn't want to put keylogging software on your computer, but he wanted to keep track of what you wrote to Alicia.
This is new FBI software. Each voice has features as unique as fingerprints.
It's in Orlando. It's where most of the software programmers are based. What are you going to do with that picture?
I once helped a Lebanese agoraphobe retain copyright on a piece of facial recognition software.
No, outstanding. It's working for a software company up in Seattle.
I still have my software company.
Temper. Temper. Temper.
Temper.
Temper.
I can't believe it, but that guy's got a temper.
Joe didn't have a temper.
He's always had a temper. I just thought he was letting off steam.
He's got this crazy temper. He can snap just like that.
See that guy right there? He's got a temper.
Then he shut Officer Washington.
Edge. These men will remain in case your temper returns.
Not necessary.
Temper your excitement, dear.
This is merely another room for you to clean.
He had quite a temper.
You knew my father?
We crossed paths once, yes.
Well, I see you still have your temper.
I have one lieutenant who's out AWOL, another one who can't keep his temper in check.
My wife and son were murdered. Was it you who took the contract?
And congratulations on the downtown contract.
Extraordinary circumstance that frees both parties from a contract.
Had a real live arm. Got me a minor league contract for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Boy, what we could do with this freak on our team. Talk about undercover, man. Man, the contracts we could haul down.
Forget it.
To offer you a contract.
I have a contract with Angel Bay.
Things are hard for everybody. The company is struggling, you know that. Contract with the city is up in the air.
Yes, blow me up! No, I think they don't trust you. I think you signed the contract or not. What?
It provides $400 million in payroll annually and nearly $500 million in contracts.
As you can see, we have a legal and binding signed contract from Mr. Stephanides.
Chaparral Associates got the contract to retrofit this place in '99. $4 million contract. Head partner couldn't crack it.
Looks like the finance guys even found a loophole in the union contract, so they didn't have to pay severance packages and pensions to their employees.
A reminder that the family business is dying and that we need this contract, and Oliver Queen can give it to us.
Corrupt.
Corrupt.
Just like all the others. Rich, corrupt, then most definitely dangerous.
The men and women I've targeted are dangerous, corrupt. A virulent cancer.
You are not going to turn this into your little corrupt kingdom again.
I left as soon as I realized how corrupt it all was, how they were buying the government.
You could have come back at any time!
No, I couldn't!
If the cops know it, sooner or later some rat in that corrupt department they call a security force sells it to the cartels.
You like my country weak and corrupt, don't you? So you can buy your cheap crap at the mall.
I'm your fucking cousin.
You're bad. You corrupt fuck, man. You must be my cousin.
I guess most of Nova Corps want to uphold the laws, but these ones here, they're corrupt and cruel.
That I am a vegetarian.
Yeah, I keep hoping to corrupt you.
Oh, I'm corruptible.
Would be the first time I see corrupt police.
He's not corrupt. You don't have a shred of proof against him.
Property.
Property.
Now get the hell off my property.
Your property actually starts at that elevator.
You've been formally charged with 3 counts of murder, the bombing of government property, conspiracy to commit terrorism, treason, and sedition.
Sounds like someone was expecting the property, and when Sam couldn't deliver, they killed him. Why?
What's so special about that property?
Tom, don't think what you're thinking. That's Mr. Fontaine's property. Property is a relative term for a thief. Still.
In a week or two, after somebody calls in an anonymous tip, the police are going to find your body buried on the property.
General, Hoon has been sighted on the property.
Bryce.
Which division? Drug sales or distribution of stolen property? So Sam drove up to New York to secure the property in Queens from his ex-wife.
I'm her consolation prize? I'll pass. She's not anyone's property.
I'm sorry to involve all of you in this. Is that Argus property?
There's evidence.
Is our business.
And Iris did just find out that Barry's the fly.
So by the transitive property, Barry and Iris are our business.
Last few years of his life, he barely even left the property.
It's
Rigid.
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 Rigid. Rigid.
Cam's right. I can be a little rigid. Rigid. So when Chad from accounting, who I always thought was gay, but apparently is not.
You're rigid, John. You're rigid, John. You're rigid, John. You're blind to any viewpoint that isn't yours.
I never really believed you were a fanatic. Charmless, rigid. A bore, yes, but not a godly man.
Pulse 140, 140. Weak and 30 at the brachial. No breath sounds on the right side and the belly's rigid.
And his body will shut down. One piece at a time. His abdomen goes rigid, then...
Her abdomen's rigid. She's bleeding internally.
As long as you remain firmly attached to a rigid pole.
Really? Women tend not to be as rigid in their sexual identities as men.
Weren't we talking about murder here?
You are rigid and humorless.
Let's kick both their asses!
I was surprised, too. Also, these are non-fixed radius striae, which indicate that both blades were straight and rigid.
15-year-old Kelly Keck, GSW to the leg and abdomen. Abdomen rigid, systolic 75, last pulse 147.
My stomach really hurts. Okay, Michael, we gave you something for the pain. It should kick in. My abdomen feels rigid.
Qualification. Qualification.
Qualification. Qualification.
Qualification.
What's your qualification? What's your qualification?
Electronics.
I need to see wristbands. Qualifications? I need to see wristbands to prove you've already been tested.
Oh. What are his qualifications? Qualifications.
He's a clerk, I think.
Yes.
And I don't want a partnership with those kind of qualifications, Felicity.
I know Oliver's religiously against admitting he's wrong.
Sure. About taking your GED, ever think of that? Give you some qualification.
I'm telling you, although this Sarah Lang has the right qualifications on paper, she is not an ideal candidate.
Bands. What's your qualification?
I don't understand, but we're healthy, all of us. Sorry, there's nothing I can do.
Are you questioning my qualifications? Because you will not find a more experienced or respected forensic anthropologist anywhere in the world. Make your career. You have your pick of fellowships.
You never had the qualifications.
Based on what?
You know, sometimes I wish I had an assistant whose qualifications extended beyond having a great ass. I can't tell you how much it would mean to the team to have your qualifications, your expertise on board, even just having your name on the website.
Confidence.
Confidence.
Confidence. Confidence.
To this, but you have to understand. The overlords have lost confidence in my methods.
One day. I'm not sure I can sell that. I have confidence in you, Kevin. Confidence in you, Kevin.
I've got 4 RDF bearings from some of her recent transmissions. 60% confidence of her position within a 10-mile radius.
Knowing how deadly this plague is and how fast it spreads, I don't have any confidence that there's going to be any survivors, so...
Your words will be heard in the strictest confidence.
So, do we break a patient's confidence and disobey her orders, or not?
Direction.
I know I can always count on you for a draft of self-confidence whenever I start to doubt.
I'm happy to hear it, because you come at a critical moment. There's a confidence vote scheduled for tomorrow.
Into the election. It gives the White House too much time to vet somebody.
Peter's crossed the line. We built up his confidence, and now we're losing control of him.
I'm sure you've noticed that she's still sort of adjusting to her role. You mean her confidence?
Don't lie to me.
Look, if you've lost confidence in my ability...
Stop fucking around. I have complete confidence in my wife. And Victor, you must know, this isn't part of any plan.
Background.
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 But they didn't have the skill that we have. See,
I got a background.
Now, he thinks he's safe, but I've been developing a plot to kill his king. You see my rook sitting there waiting, forgotten about in the background. I bring him into the hunt.
That is not the same painting as the others. Where have I seen that hand before in the background? Finger pointing down.
My gut tells me you're not with them, but I have to be absolutely certain. I'm gonna do a quick background check on you. If everything is good, I'll be in touch, okay?
Hold. Where are the background checks on the Scott case?
What do you got?
Professor Nathan Tolloway. He's been teaching for about 1.5 years, but the guy has nothing on his background. He's a complete ghost.
Good. When we did our background check, it said you'd never been arrested. Is that true?
Absolutely amazing to me how people with completely different backgrounds and nothing in common can become that.
Thank you for sitting down with us tonight.
Well, I'm always happy to enjoy a good meal, and I'm very impressed with your background.
Sequencing showed a high degree of variation. You're having trouble distinguishing what's causing the enhanced pathogenesis and what's just background noise.
I mean, this degenerate in the Navy, did they even do a background check? Because I got 2 words for you.
Bruh. We know that he might be running for Congressman Russo's old seat.
I can't comment on that.
We're just trying to do some background on the shipyard closing last April.
Listen, I just want to eat my breakfast.
Admit.
Admit.
Admit. Admit. Admit.
Stern gets into an accident not because he's drunk, but because he's confused. He doesn't want to admit it, so he goes and has 4 drinks. You don't trust me. It's such a control thing. Admit it. Admit it. Admit it. Admit it. Admit it. Admit it. You're reluctant to leave me in charge.
Rubbish.
The slip of a hammer sets off a spark. No one stands a chance in hell. Now, if the company's at fault, I'd be the first one to admit it. Admit it.
Mine alone. No public funds were ever utilized. But I do admit to a failure of judgment by private dealings with these women.
It's prejudicial. So you think the prosecution won't try to admit it?
Oh, I know they will.
No, thank you for the invite. Although I have to admit, I feel a little outclassed. You have to admit, last night was wonderful.
And a mistake.
Whatever. It's still the best operations report you'll ever see, whether you want to admit it or not. See this.
You should have seen your face. Yes, there's nothing quite like the slightly widened eyes of mildly startled. Come on, admit it. We got you, Sheldon.
Please.
The camera will love you.
Any chance the camera has a secret crush on me, but it's too afraid to admit it because it doesn't know if I'd like it back because I so would.